Welcome to my thoughts on the inspiration. Now, got to tell you guys, not going to lie about it. I forgot about, and I did see it. I did see just before they showed the final scenes of Bound for Glory, they did talk about inspiration and advertisement for Bound for Glory. They did. But I wanted to focus so much on Mercedes Martinez now possibly being part of Impact Wrestling, I just forgot. I'm not going to lie about it. I did forget. But here's my thoughts. Since I was thinking about Mercedes Martinez and wondering if she is now part of Impact Wrestling, I'm hoping that she's begun a contract because now she's going to be facing a Dana Purrazzo, that she's part of the roster, that they signed her. But there's no guarantee of that because she could be there for a taping by taping basis. If you don't know, a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times Impact Wrestling will do one or two things. One, they'll let you come in for tapings. They'll let you do a couple of tapings, and then you're done, and you're gone. They just want to have some new people there briefly, so it'll feel like the show is a bit fresh. Or they do taping by taping, and then they see how you do through those tapings, and if they really like you, they'll sign you on the spot, like they did with Marsha Slamovich. From what I understand from one of the subscribers, because more than a few told me, I totally forgot about the inspiration. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I just forgot. But he did say that she was offered a contract. She was offered the opportunity to join Impact, but they refused to record it. Maybe because she had made her mind up. Maybe she said no, or maybe they wanted to make this a surprise, maybe at Bound for Glory, that she is on the roster. I don't know. I don't believe Lady Frost, as I call Killer Frost. I don't know if she's going to be part of the Impact roster. She's part of NWA. Now, she could have an open contract that allows her to work with NWA and any other promotion she wants, because she was able to go to Knockouts Knockdown. That could be because in her contract with Billy Corgan, that she does have the ability to go to other promotion and do some one-offs, or maybe to work in another promotion. I don't know what she signed. So she could do maybe one-offs in certain promotions, or maybe, just maybe, she may join Impact and do work with NWA. Unless it's the agreement between NWA and Impact Wrestling, because the forbidden door is open, as AEW and Tony Khan has stated, where many promotions have been cross-promoting one another, working with one another, and fuck Impact Wrestling, because you still got no N. I'm just angry. I'm about to say NWA, but I'm angry there's no Impact stars other than the Good Brothers showing on AEW. I'm just angry about that. The only person I've seen that's gone to NWA was Daivari months ago. He was the only one that went to Daivari on a one-off, and we haven't seen him since. That was before they went to the Chase. That's it. But we don't know about Killer Frost. We just don't know. But what do we have here? For the inspiration, which is Cassidy Lee as well as Jessica McKay. I don't know why I said Jennifer. Maybe I like the name Jennifer. I don't know. Anyway, when it comes down to it, for me personally, what is this? Is it good to see a tag team coming into Impact Wrestling? Yes, they need tag teams. This is what I've been screaming about for quite a while since they brought back the Impact Tag Championships for the women. They needed more women to be able to supplement. Remember, you got the main title, then you got the tag titles, and both sets of women, which is not both sets of women, they're all from the main title, have been basically doing double, triple, quadruple matches for the tag belts. And it's been ridiculously boring. We've seen the same matches from the same women multiple times that have been from the main roster for the women's title. We needed a separate division. Doesn't mean the women who are doing tag cannot also do the main title and trying to get the Knockouts Championship. There's nothing wrong with that. But with so few women, you have maybe, 11, 12 women. And pretty much, you've seen every woman wrestle one another in tag because you had no one to cover. You mostly had, 3 teams, maybe 4 at the most. And in many cases, you threw everyone in a 6-woman or 12-woman tag At least once, we saw everyone in the roster work. So, now that we have the inspiration coming in, so that means we have the K, we have the influence, we have the inspiration. We got 3 tag teams just there, not counting Sue Young's tag team, not counting Jordan Grace and the Rachel Ellering. You got it. And then you still have Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans, which makes 7 possible teams, but that also means it's still not enough women because that's 14 women and you still have to fill in here and here. The most you're going to have is maybe about 4 teams here. The rest are going to be here. And we need over 20 women. I say about 26 women. Honestly, if you want to make this really interesting, have 26 women on the roster. Majority are here. The others are here. And you can go back and forth any way you want. I know that's a lot of women. But I honestly believe that's the wisest thing to do. That's what I said for AEW. Now that they have the TBS title, and I do have a Gump report recorded for that. And that should come out Tuesday. But with Impact, you got 2 title divisions. And you don't have enough women. So you're going to eventually see Jessica and Cassidy go to the main title scene eventually. It's going to happen. But how do I feel generally? Will they actually work on the Impact roster? Can they mesh well with the storylines? Will they wrestle differently? And the most important thing to me personally, Jessica's mental state. Now, if you've not seen Chris Van Vliet interview Cassidy and Jessica, she said very clearly, and that was months upon months ago, she said very clearly that she was not right when she was separated from Peyton. She wasn't. Didn't understand why they separated them. And then she was never right. She was actually quite sad, and to a certain extent, she didn't say she was 100% depressed, but she was. She didn't know herself. And she kept trying to make things work as a singles competitor. And then at one point, and this is when she went to SmackDown, at one point, which was ludicrously stupid, they had her do a storyline. That's got to be Vince. And if she decided to do it, it just shows how bad her mental state was, that she wanted to try and find herself a new tag team partner. And she spent months in a storyline that was just for her, trying to find someone to take her as a partner. She eventually didn't get a partner. I mean, she did tag on and off, but she eventually never did get a partner. She did go to WrestleMania. I believe she was in a Fatal 4-Way. I can't remember exactly who was in it. I know Naomi was in it. Was it a Fatal 4-Way? I can't remember. I believe it was at WrestleMania, and that she was in at least a Fatal 4-Way, and Naomi was in that match. And I know that's got to be an incredible accomplishment for someone like her, who's been a mega fan, who loves the business, and was finally given an opportunity to be at WrestleMania in an important match. But as I said in my video, my Gump report, this is not good. If she was that messed up mentally, and she said it on Chris Van Vliet's video, because her and Cassidy were interviewed by him, and he heard her say, we all heard her say, that she was so upset that she didn't feel right. I'm wondering, has there been enough time for her since she's been released? Because I believe it was in April or May that she was released from the I think around May she was released from the WWE. And yes, it is now October. It's been many months since she has been done. And I know the non-compete clause fell months ago. But has it been enough time for her to get her mind right? Because, honestly, being in a situation where your mind is not right, no matter how good of a wrestler or a performer, whatever you do, if your mind wasn't right, by the time you're out of that situation, if you don't address it, what then? Do you actually believe you'll be able to go back into it and things will be better just because you're in a different environment? It counts on you taking care of yourself. And I know Cassie's going to be there for Jessica. I'm sure of that. They're best friends for life. They consider each other sisters. Both of them have kids. Their kids will consider their kids cousins. That's the truth. No problem with that. But I'm going to be honest to you. If she has not gotten her head right, and worse yet, And this is what I said in my video. This woman need to get her head right. And she need to retrain herself, because by the time this was over, her ring work was so horrid. Guys, she couldn't wrestle for shit. She could not wrestle for shit. She needed to be retrained. And that's also going along with her mental state. If she thinks going into Impact Wrestling without trying to take care of her problems, she thinks just because now she's with Cassidy and now they can work together, that solved the problem. No. No. She made it very clear that she was not right. And honestly, if she's still not right, going into Impact Wrestling, her ring work may still stay exactly the same. Bad. And if she's got to work with Cass and she never addressed her problems, like, guess what? See Sasha Banks. She was having mental problems. She didn't know who she was. She was wrestling great, but her mental faculties were so bad, she couldn't remember who Mercedes was. She only knew Sasha Banks. She had to go away for months to straighten herself out. And here, if Jessica did not, it is going to look bad for both of them. People are going to shred her ass. And I will be one of them. I'm not going to be cruel, but I'm going to be honest. If her ring work is worse than it was in WWE, if she can't act for shit, mostly due to the fact that she looks like she's still not happy, then what was the damn point? Now, many people would say, well, she's got to work. She's got to make money. Yeah. She was making big bills with the WWE. But it doesn't mean if she wasn't saving her money, I'm sure she did save something. If she didn't save anything, she's a damn fool. I don't care how nice she is, how sexy she is, because she has a nice ass. She's a beautiful woman. She's not going to really change. She's not an ugly woman. She's a beautiful woman. She's smart. I'm sure she is. But if she saved not one damn penny of her money and wasted it all, she's a damn fool and she deserves to have nothing. Because you know for a fact, as a wrestler, eventually, you're not going to wrestle anymore. You must diversify. And many people who don't figure that out gets nailed in the ass, just like a Jay Lethal who put everything, and I saw his video with Chris Van Vliet. He said it clearly. I had no plan. And when the pandemic happened, I fucking freaked out. If she didn't learn anything from the pandemic about diversifying herself and being smart enough to take care of herself and not waste some money, she deserves whatever she gets. And that's not being cruel. It's about being honest. But here, when it comes to Cassidy Lee and it comes to Jessica McKay, they are the inspiration. They will come out at Bound for Glory, and then from there, they will be a tag team in Impact Wrestling. What do I believe is going to happen? I believe, once they're shown, they're going to be doing skits in the back, and they will have matches just like everybody else. But the question is going to be several. One, if Cassidy, along with... let me put it like this. If both these women didn't start working and trying to improve their craft, if Cassidy and Jessica did not spend the last couple of months since, I think it's been, May? Since Jessica has been gone from the company, at least May. So that's May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 7 months. That's roughly 7 months, if I'm right. She left around either just after WrestleMania or the next month in May. So I say around 6 to 7 months. If these two women did not work on their ring work and they go into the ring, and yes, it's going to be ring rust, there's no problem with it. But if you can't even see that they have been working, at least trying to maintain something, there's going to be an issue. People are going to get pissed seeing really sloppy work in the ring. Now, I will give them at least a certain leeway, because if they have not been able to wrestle anywhere for months due to the pandemic and that they couldn't find anyone they wanted to go and work with, there's going to be ring rust. There will be a certain amount of ring rust. They'll be a little off. No problem. It happens. But if they look god-awful, and I mean the Great Spirit saying, girls, what the fuck are you doing? If they're that bad, that showed, one, they did not keep their skills up. then when it comes to working in the back, and they're going to have to do some storylines, they're going to have to do some skits like going to the Swingers Palace. This is going to be a good opportunity to see where they are mentally, both of them. Because yes, I know my subscribers, many of them hate Swingers Palace. There's some that can't stand Swingers Palace. I understand you. But this is a good opportunity to see how well they've been practicing acting. Now, not every wrestler can act. They suck. Some are incredible with the gift of gab, the ability to adapt, the ability to really make themselves interesting. And then there's just some who just does not have that in them. They're just pure wrestler. And when it comes to doing character work, they suck. But when it comes to the Iconics, former Iconics, now the Inspiration, we know for a fact that on NXT and on the main roster, they were characters. You can say whatever the fuck you want about them both. To a certain extent, each of them had certain strengths that made them somewhat entertaining to some of the audience. Not to all. No one's saying that they were. But they had some entertaining value. I've always said for both of them, they could be managers / wrestlers. Being a tag team didn't always play to their strength. They should have been managers more than they were wrestlers. Either manage each other or manage somebody else. That's what I felt would have been more interesting for them both, because they have that ability in them. So when it comes to this situation, we know they can act to a certain extent. But if they're god awful, again, the Great Spirit is going to say, what the fuck are you doing? Didn't you practice? Didn't you try to improve yourself for all the months you've been gone? It can't just be your ring work that's sloppy. If you're like this and you can't even hold a conversation in front of a camera, that means one of two things. One, you didn't practice, or two, there's something wrong with your mental state, like I said, with Jessica, where she might not still be right in the head. She might still be a bit depressed because of how she was treated on the roster of WWE. You can say a lot about WWE. They're not kind. Yes, I've heard the rumors that she was well loved by the people in the back. But there's a big difference between the people back loving you when you're not in their way and being someone's way, and they want a spot you're doing. Because remember, most of the roster is sitting in the back doing nothing. Some of them there for years, and they tried. And understand, not everyone just sat there happily getting a check. There are many people who tried to pitch some type of story. Look at Nikki. She managed to do the Nikki Ash crap. She had to pitch it multiple times to finally get someone to listen. When it comes to, I'm sure, multiple people in the back, they have tried to pitch something, but either the writers say, well, Vince wouldn't go for it, and then if they go in front of Vince himself or Bruce or Kevin, they get shot down as well. Saying that either we don't have room for you, I don't like it, or maybe we'll do this with you, which sucks more than what you came up with. That is the truth. So, that could get you after a while. Yeah, you got friends working in WWE as long as you're not in their way. And I'm not even taking anything away from the wrestlers that are honestly trying to get on TV. As Big E has always said, when he first started in the New Day, he just wanted to be booked on TV, because if you're not used, eventually they will try to get rid of you. Or you just sit there in hell doing nothing. And you've already heard so many wrestlers, yes, many of them have tried to be nice and say, I had a good time there, but they never really utilized me. And others said they treated me like shit and did nothing with me and shot me down and made me do the most stupidest things that I hated, and they didn't care. That's it. And I have to put the emphasis on care. Because how Vince is right now, I've heard of how certain things, SmackDown right now, when they go on air, they're changing to, FS1. And now it's going to be 2 hours. With an extra 30 minutes tacked on top. And it's not because Vince is trying to get more time to the wrestling fan. I've heard what some people saying, Sean Ross Sapp, saying that this is supposed to be a gift to the wrestling fan. No, it isn't. Vince has to make a request to get extra time. He had to make a request to get extra time. There might be something where he may have to pay extra. I mean, there are certain things that when you're on a network, yes, you're getting paid to give a product, but if you do an overrun, you may have to pay something extra. There may have to be something you have to ask for, and maybe they're going to want something in exchange. Maybe some extra money. You never know. Because advertisements get cut off when you ask for extra time for the networks. Remember, networks make money through advertisement. The more advertisement they have in the network, the more the network gets. So if WWE is asking for 30 extra minutes, maybe the WWE has to pay something to the network to allow them to have an extra 30 minutes. And that is to mess with, guess what, AEW. That's what this is all about. So you can see how Vince would treat his workers. So what this leads back to Jessica, who knows if she is in a good place or not. I'm hoping this, after all of this, what I'm hoping for the inspiration is that they come in after Bound for Glory and they do a good job. They have worked on their ring skills. They worked on their mic skills. They worked on the character development. Now that they're not with the WWE and have to be stuck in a certain way, let us hope that these two women have improved themselves over the last, for Cassidy, I think she got out earlier than Billy. I can't remember. I think a couple of months before Billy was released, Cassidy was released. So let's hope both these women have actually improved themselves, because if they didn't, and they're just plain old iconics, but sloppier, people are going to chew their asses out. And guess what? I'm going to be 10 of them. I'm not going to be nice to them. Why am I going to be nice to two women that had time off from wrestling? And one of them had clearly stated that she was pretty much depressed. And if she didn't take time to get some help, and then when she get time to get some help to get some ring work in, to improve her skills, and to work on her acting and on mic, if neither one of them, particularly her, and they get on TV, they deserve to get pooned. And I'm not going to be nice to them. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be like JD, who says they're fucking disgusting. I'm going to be objective and look at them from a show-by-show basis on either they've done well, they've done okay, they've done great, or they're goodness awful. Flat out, that's it. But this is just my point of view. And I hope you enjoy my thoughts on the inspiration. Please leave a comment below, a like, and maybe get someone to take a look at the show and maybe get a subscribe maybe. I'm just hoping people want to see me. Peace.